No.
Hi, Sean Kirkpatrick, watching at home. Oh, thank you.
Did you just say we're getting started soon?
No, I was
Just testing
shouting
the
out
mic.
someone who texted me who's watching on the live stream.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Come grab a seat, and y'all can sit closer if you want to. You don't have to. I know the snacks are back there, but you can come up front, especially if it's gonna be intimate. We're not necessarily starting now, but I just want to let people know. Sit up front. It's okay.
Wow, that's a delay.
Feedback.
Feedback.
That was me moments ago. Hey, hey.
Just remember, we got talking to the mics if they want to hear us at home.
No, I like to just test. I didn't know it. Yeah.
Well,
Shall we start?
Yeah, let's get started.
Let's start.
Love it.
Any last minutes or whatever? All right.
just remember to talking to the mic, Paul, so people can hear us at home.
You can hear us at home.
I think
All
we
right.
can just hold it.
I know. I just love to stand.
Welcome,
so I
everyone.
may just stand. All right. Cool.
And we know where Kara is.
Kara's coming. Kara's coming. All right.
Great.
Well, thank you everybody for being here. We really appreciate that. Thank you. Just right.
Talking to the mic, Paul.
Talking to the mic. All right. Talking to the mic. Talking to the mic. All right.
For the viewers at home.
All right. Viewers at home. Well, we thought before we started talking, we wanted to literally maybe hear a little bit from you. And it was just a question that I had, that we have, is, are you proud to call Kickstand your creative home? Do you like performing, teaching, taking classes, seeing shows at Kickstand? Anyone want to just do some shout outs? I can repeat it. Are you proud that this is your home, creative home? We're getting some nods.
We're seeing
Anything
yeses.
any specifics of why? The people. Okay.
I like that it's a super welcoming environment that makes you feel creative and fun.
It's great. Welcoming environment that makes you feel creative and excitement. Good. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but it's also, we're going to talk, but mostly this is a town hall. This is your opportunity to express, talk, share, ask questions. We have comments. This is a dialogue, not a talk-at, not a TED Talk. This really is, and this is why it's important. This is your home. This is your creative home. And we'll talk later about, okay, maybe it's, if you're proud, what are you not proud about? What are some things that are issues or bothering you? Things that you want to bring up. We want to have that discussion, that dialogue with you as well. But being positive, we want it to be like, what do you like? What are you proud of? What's important to you? Any other shout outs before we move on?
Well, I would like, yeah, Magenta, go for it. Magenta says they love volunteering and greeting people at the box office. If you're here and you haven't volunteered at Kickstand before, if it's something that you're curious about, Magenta would be a great person to talk to. Obviously, also Lynn, who coordinates some of those volunteers, and any one of us on staff if you're curious about it. I love Paul's question here, but like, what's a specific experience you've had this past year that have made you feel like that's Kickstand? Like that is something that like I really enjoy about Kickstand is having that experience this past year. Is there any specific opportunities, shows?
I don't have a specific, but I was gonna say that I feel like this space is, well, it's like it feels like hip and like not like it doesn't feel. You know, you walk into a comedy club and they're like it's 2 drink minimum. You know, it feels welcoming and like.
Yeah, Justin saying he feels like the space feels hip, it feels welcoming, maybe a little bit different from some other comedy spaces that have sort of all this requirements of 2 drink minimum and all of that.
Online, Dan is not short says the variety of classes plus the increasing frequency of shows using talents from inside and outside of our community and the wildly inclusive nature makes me proud to be in the community.
Nice.
And Caitlin Michelson said when the power went out and the show went on.
Yeah,
Classic,
very cool.
classic moment.
Improvising, right? Yeah. Any other specific experiences? Yeah.
I guess as someone who's pretty new to improv and whatnot, I don't really have anything to compare it to, but I would say it seems like the type of place where you can come in and be really bad at something and people are pretty encouraging, so it's less scary to suck for a long time so you can kind of get up on your feet.
Yeah, great. It's okay to find your footing, maybe not be the best at something when you begin. People are still welcoming and encouraging, and you eventually get there because of that encouragement, hopefully. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a memory as Megavark really stands out to me. Like, I don't know, I just had such an overwhelming feeling of like, this is so cool. Like, everyone wants to be here and be with each other. And like, I get that feeling at a lot of art. I mean, I don't go to Aardvark a ton, but whenever I do, I'm like, I really love that it's like such a mix of people. And I don't know, just like that night felt like, okay, this is like Kickstand at our best.
Yeah, mega aardvark being representative of, like a bunch of people just being here, wanting to be here, making comedy together. Aardvark feels that way. I love that. Yeah. Magenta again? Yeah, Roland and Roland's mannequin wife. As an example of like something unique you can see on this stage, generated from somebody local, somebody part of the community. Love that. Yeah.
I just wanted to add on to Randy's. I mean, Mega Aardvark was awesome, but like hanging out with 70 people on the sidewalk at the bar afterwards for hours, and it was like new people and old people, and yeah.
Yeah.
Having been here, since it started, it was very special.
Yeah, connection. Yeah.
Yeah, multi-generational. Cool. Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. Hey, who is that guy? Wow, these are positive wins. Look at this.
Just real quick, let's just take a little tour. We got some kind of accountant, Paul.
That
up
is
here.
the executive director right there. I was
That's him doing
prepping for
his
that. I
executive
was
director
prepping for
work.
that position early on.
This is his theater experience.
Yes.
This is, he's sporty too. He contains multitudes. Blue collar man working.
I have to fix the toilet here. Yeah, that's right. Where we go.
But he's sensitive.
No, I think I could audition for Honk with that photo. Can't I? I think I could be a Honk
Smolder.
member for that.
And then the most problematic one.
Back in the day, my agent was like, well, we got to get you on 21 Jump Street. It was really kind of sad. All right. We have photos of us, so that's why that's up there. And also, so let's talk about some wonderful positive wins, some accomplishments that have happened within the last 6 months. So grants, we received a $25,000 building improvement grant from the Oregon Community Foundation. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Kat. Multnomah County Cultural, $2,400 for the BIPOC comedy program. Amanda did do that one. L&H Foundation, $2,500 for accessibility support. I met with L&H Foundation towards our interpreters in ASL. We have 9 grant applications that were turned down, but we have 7 that are pending. So we'll find out if we're going to get some more grant money coming in. We went to crowd work ticketing, so we changed our ticketing service. That's been interesting. I think there's been some pluses. I think we're still evaluating it, but that has been a new just project having to move forward. We got new graphics. Diana Kolsky designed some of the house, so thank you. Overall, we've seen an increase in ticket sales for all shows. That has been an increase. We joined or were asked to be part of Hawthorne Boulevard Business Association. So we will have a booth at the Hawthorne Street Fair on August 26th, I believe, a Sunday. Up to 20,000 people come to that street fair. So this is an opportunity for us to promote Kickstand, but mostly to be part of this boulevard. And they were thrilled to have us. They were like, yes. And it was funny because the cutoff is 12th Street. And we're like, we're at 10th. And they're like, that's okay. We really want you to be part of this. So I've already gone to a meeting. I've already met a couple people. We're going to try to get on more of their cross promotions. So that's been really nice. Breaking the rules. We've had a lot of people step up and help us. Courtney has been taking over Aardvark. Thank you, Courtney. Peter Lundquist doing Sketch Coven. Eric Simon's been coordinating the BIPOC jams on that. And Mommy's Favorite has been the team jam host. So thank you, Mommy's Favorite. So we had a 3-on-3 tournament. For some of you know, Lynn, the house manager, she says, hey, for March Madness, you should have some type of basketball-themed cage match improv tournament. And I said the idea to Michael is like, well, I think 3-on-3 would be really good. So out of the 2 ideas, we came up with 3-on-3. Thank you for all the teams that got together and be part of it. And with that, we sold 254 tickets to those shows. We also had more people that were sneaking in the back door for the finals of those shows that we have to figure out and talk about. We had some teaching artists, Deanna Fleischer, Zach Steele, Paul Valancourt, and we have Ross Bryant coming up. So we have a lot of guest artists that we're asking to come up, participate, be part of Kickstand, be part of performing and teaching. And for those who don't know, Justin Ulbrich has been doing our social media posts for the last 2 months. So thank you, Justin, for all that. Okay, so those are some of, obviously, the wonderful successes or wins or positives, achievements that have been happening in the last 6 months.
Department highlights. Who's up first? Oh, it's Kara.
That was a very high fashion store that I was like, Dylan, take my picture in front of this. It's not there anymore. The Moore store, my store. Cool. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about some cool updates as the director of operations. A lot of cool changes happening in the space, trying to make it look more polished and professional. So let's go through sponsorships. We've gotten some cool sponsorships. New Deal makes gin and vodka, and they donated a lot of liquor to the theater, which was really cool. And Westward Whiskey is likely to become a new sponsor for a stand-up show coming up. And then Widmer, who supplies all of our beer, does it totally free. And if you say Sean Kirkpatrick, tell him thank you, because he is the one who does that for us. Yeah. We got a new partnership going with Farina Bakery. Shout out to Emma. And Rad Pop Popcorn from Iggy. And it is selling like hotcakes. So that is great, yeah. Updates about the physical space. Thank you to Julie for helping to hem this curtain. We had just one so far, but we will. Oh, and she hemmed the ones here and in the hallway. So Julie and Courtney are going to help hem these curtains, so these will be touching the floor in a nice flowy manner. No longer held up with duct tape. We're getting 30 more chairs from Mississippi Studios. So these blue. What?
They'll be matching.
They will be matching. They'll match the blue chairs. Yeah. So then all our chairs will be matching, which is the dream. Let's see. Piping. Oh, yeah. I added this thing up here. So now that's fully covered and doesn't look like a patchwork quilt. And that is now covering this spot that is now an actual curtain. And those will be hemmed and touched up too. Big clock. Everybody's excited about the big clock?
Yeah, big clock. Big clock.
I saw
Big
you.
clock energy.
Molly, I heard your words. I see you. And there's your clock. Yeah. There will be, we have somebody working on a little contraption for away days to put in AC. So that should be here next week. So yeah. So just letting you know. Garage door shout out to Ben and Zimmer for helping with those to black out the windows and just make it look a little more nice. Curtains of the Peach Room, that was me. I'm never on ladders here alone.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I try not to, but sometimes. Cool. And then one of the newest updates I just want to let people know about is that the house managers now have a script to read at the end of the shows so that the teams don't have to let people know about classes and kickstandcomedy.com, which it is not. It is kickstandcomedy.org. Kickstandcomedy.org, once again. So they'll be doing stuff about letting people know what shows are coming up, when classes are coming up, so the teams don't need to worry about that anymore. Yeah. Coming soon, repairs to the bathroom walls. The cutout behind the toilet. Who remembers the nightmare when neither of the bathrooms worked? Woo! Hopefully those days are behind us, knock on wood. They are, but I just never like to worry. Cool. More soundproofing is going to go up in the back blue room. So I'm going to work on that. And then Fix It Fridays. So Fix It Fridays is something we're going to start doing where once a month on Fridays, anybody can just come, sign up, and we're going to work on a project at the theater. So that could be the curtains, that could be painting, that could be cleaning the theater. Because right now it's just, me and a couple other people. So that would be a huge help. Needs. So one of the things that's really helpful if you have the means is to donate stuff to sell at the bar, because the bar it takes a lot of money to run it, but we also make good money from the bar. So if you got the ability to donate a case of Coca-Cola or donate a bottle of vodka, that goes a long way. Or if you know companies that would help do that, or you want to reach out to companies on our behalf to get that stuff, that is a huge help. We would love something like small and handheld to sell in the kitchen for people to eat that are not Hot Pockets and burritos. If you know anyone who make a company that makes nice empanadas or hand pies, that's something I think that would be super easy to fling out of the kitchen. Tastes good and people would want to eat it. Throw some arugula and balsamic vinaigrette on the side. And then our kitchen is for rent. We're still working on getting someone in there. So let us know. I believe the rent is $1,500 a month. And the kitchen is 274 square feet. I believe that's right. So it's a small kitchen space, but it is great for something like a commissary kitchen. Cool. That's it for me.
Nice. Kara chose all these, by the way, and I'm in love. I love it. Just some updates on the training center. If we have not met before, Alex, if you can move to one of these seats, thank you. Yeah. We got the camera there.
Thank you.
So I'm the educational programs manager here at Kickstand. So I run the training center, and to give you some updates on the training center continues to do very well. By who knows what luck, every single session has improved on the session beforehand, and we are at a place where each session, we seem to be getting more students. We're offering more classes, and as a result, we are making more money. Now we have a bigger overhead, so it doesn't mean we're diving in it like Scrooge McDuck, but this is thanks to obviously a whole team of people, our amazing teachers, and I'm really proud of the success of the training center. The student shows have been really hopping lately. And not only are they incredibly well attended, almost to the point of breaking fire codes, which we do not do here at Kickstand, but the shows themselves are really good. Level 3 students coming out of the gate strong, doing shows where people are very impressed. Is like, was that your first ever show? And it's really good work, all the way up through the levels. So we really have a bright future of comedy ahead of us, and those are our students doing that. And we're really proud of them. We have brought on some new teachers over the course of the last time we talked at the town hall. So some of these teachers aren't new anymore, but you should know that Thea Crowley has started teaching, Dana Murphy has started teaching, Frida Davis has started teaching, and we brought on TAs Lauren Sinner and Jordan Bloomberg just this session. So a round of applause for a lot of our new teachers. We have doubled the corporate engagements that we do from this time last year. Looking at this year, we're doing twice as many work with corporate clients or outside clients. A lot of our students have been leads for us. We're doing a lot of work in the medical space too. And I'm really proud. A lot of the instructors here at Kickstand go out and they represent very well, doing workshops in applied improv for a bunch of different fields. I will pitch that if you are a student here and you work for a business or a corporation, improv can help. Improv can help you do what you do. We can help your teams work better. We can tailor a workshop specifically for what your coworkers need. Contact Kickstand, have an instructor come, and a lot of not only the soft skills, but very practical skills that your team will use the very next day, let us know. It's good for Kickstand, it's good for where you work, and it can be a happy marriage. Let's do it. The next is that we've offered some different types of classes. So we've got a musical improv 201 going. We have advanced stand-up going here in the space. We've got an acting class that is new this session, taught by our very own Paul. We brought a lot of people to instruct in the clown work. We are trying to offer a lot of different ways to apply those comedy skills. And if you have hey, I'd love to learn this. We've also brought on storytelling. We do have a storytelling class online now, but we're also interested in doing more of that. So if you have connections for us or an interest in storytelling, let us know. Our BIPOC program continues to be very successful. We are still offering levels 1 through 3 for free for accepted applicants into that program, and then it's pay what you want through the rest of our training center classes. We do offer also a ton of scholarships to help get people access. So I'm very proud that we're able to do that, but we also need to balance that because the training center is really the place where the theater makes the money to do what it does. So, we really try to give access to these classes, but we also need to look at a way where we can support these programs, a la the grant that we got in to support the BIPOC program. So if you have connections for people who are looking to support scholarship students, let us know. Just as an update and a change that we've made, I have changed level 5 and level 6. I'm now calling it just advanced study. And that does a number of things for us, but the chief thing it does is allow us to offer training in a bunch of different formats. as an advanced study class. So it won't just be the decon, right? We can open it up to have instructors offer the mono scene or offer a pretty flower class, or like level 6 was, a build your own improv where you create your own format. So I think advanced study just allows us to expand the umbrella of our offerings in improv. So don't be confused if you're like, wait, I need to take level 5 or level 6, like I'm not finishing the program. Advanced study is the way to do that. Yeah, and then obviously, if anybody has any questions about the training center, I just want to also reinforce that our teachers are incredible. We have the most successful training center in the Pacific Northwest, and that is in large part due to our teachers. So let's give them all a round of applause. They're incredible. Yeah.
Thanks, Kristen. All right, programming. I have a title now. Woo! It's actually programming manager, not program. Oh, that's okay. So, yeah, title. And just so everyone's aware, I do this as a volunteer, 100%. No money made from it, and that's my choice. But I just say that just so people understand that, you know, sometimes I'm slow to respond or can't get back to people quickly, but Paul's been really supportive and helping me kind of, you know, bridge that gap when that happens, and support me in that role. I don't have a lot of bullet points, but just want to say that we've also worked really hard to try and get at least 2 months ahead on programming as far as like keeping the calendar full. That's something we had a lot of challenges around before that. We're doing a much better job now. There's still some last minute things happening. It's just kind of the nature of the beast right now. But on that note, we would love for folks to pitch us more shows. I know that it can seem like there's a high barrier of entry, and we do have some standards that we try to keep, and we do want to have our producers be accountable for their shows. There's a lot of work, and we understand that, and that's why we've been doing, we got rid of the deposit model where we asked for a deposit that was non-refundable, because ultimately we just have to make sure it's working for everyone. We want it to work for the producers and their time, want it to be worth it for them, but we have to cover, at the very least, cover our base costs of having a bartender, having a house manager, and just keeping the lights on. So, you know, we have to make sure we're selling tickets, and part of that is like, is this show viable? But, you know, we're still figuring out like, what does development look like? Because not everyone can hit the ground running. So, you know, pitch us a show. We have a lot of 10 p.m. slots go unused. We can use those, and there's been some successes. We have Honk has been doing a 10 o'clock show. Slidia just did like a variety 10 o'clock show, had a good turnout. There's, you know, we used to do a lot of bit shows at the smaller theater, and bit shows are just like, what if we did a night where it's the dating show, but everyone's characters? This is kind of like what we'd have done with Love is Blind, or like, what if everyone comes up with a bit around the election, or something, you know, like, I know.
Really long ago, we did a Wayne's World prov, which was really bad, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the weirder the better for late night. Just anything you can think of. Like, we're happy to talk about it too. It's okay if it doesn't come fully formed. We will accept it in any form, and we'll make that decision later. And we're also playing around with Sundays. We have this slot at 7 p.m. after the jam. We're finding some programming to go in there, but what we'd like for that to be is kind of that development slot. And we've talked about this before and haven't really had like, and there's still not exactly a name for it, and it's still kind of open-ended. But just like, what we want to do is try and find ideas where you can put it up in 30 minutes or less, and pair that with another show that's going to be 30 minutes or less. So it's a kind of 2-for-1. You're splitting the weight of like trying to get people to come. So we'll keep those costs a little lower on the ticket sales. We'll probably make a deal where you're not getting ticketing revenue because we're taking on a higher risk, but you get access to a space and you get to put on a show. I'd say 99% of theaters will charge you for that time in their space, and then you have to worry about selling tickets and marketing, and you're still gonna have to do that, but in this case, you'll only have to get like 20 people to come versus like 40 to 50, which, I think a lot of us can find 20 people to like spend $10 on a ticket. So that's kind of our goal with that. So you can pitch that on our pitch form on the website. You can email me, Zimmer@kickstandcomedy.org. We also have booking at kickstandcomedy.org. It goes to me and Paul. And so we just want to hear your ideas. And, it could be, anyway, just send ideas. We'll talk about the ideas later. And then just want to shout out our directed show runs. They've been doing really well. These are the show runs we've had in the last 6 months. We have Layoffs, that was directed by Justin Himes. Woo! We have Brain Rot, directed by Thea Crowley. And starting very, very soon, next week, is Loose Threads by our own Julie Besk and Courtney Campbell, co-directing. These have been a newer program. We did a round of these after the round before of auditions, and it's something we wanted to try that's like, let's get some ideas up on their feet and give some people the opportunity to direct for the first time. I believe these are all first-time directors, right, Julie? You and Courtney, first time? Yeah. So all premieres, they've been doing really well. Part of this is these shows are marketable, which sounds gross to say, but audiences just want to know what they're getting into, and a generic improv show is a lot harder to sell than like, this is about being online all the time. This is about your workplace. This is about creating clothes and what clothes mean about your personality and a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to find out when we've seen it. So they're really cool. They're really fun. I hope you guys can come out and see Loose Threads, and we're gonna have Brain Rot do an encore performance this next Friday. So if you didn't catch it, you get one more chance. Again, all these shows can come back in different forms, and we're still kind of figuring out what that looks like because our calendar's filling up, and that's a good thing. And here's just a slide of a bunch of other shows. These are all like what we call co-productions, where we're providing support as a theater. They are doing the producing side of the work, putting on the show. We've also had a lot of comedians reaching out now. Harry Condabolu wanted to work out a night of material, and now he's coming back in the fall to do his like developed hour because he enjoyed being here so much. So that was really cool. Ian Carmel is going to do a weekend in June where he's doing a workout hour. He loves the theater and wanted to give us the opportunity to host him. And yeah, notice it's not all improv. It's a lot of improv, but it's not all improv. We're moving in that direction. That was a goal of ours. And I just want to note that part of this is like for Hari and for Ian, these are bigger names that we have to work on our end to develop our reputation. We also have to make money, and in order for us to survive as a theater, we have to do these things, and that means bumping shows sometimes. We've been able to reschedule a lot of the improv shows we've had to bump, but sometimes we're not going to be able to do that, and it's just kind of the nature of the beast. We really appreciate people's patience with that, and we know it's a bummer to lose an opportunity to perform, but I just hope that everyone can understand that this is for the greater good in a way. It means we can stay open for number one, and it also means that we'll get a lot more cool stuff coming here. We have, I didn't do a slide of like upcoming shows, but like Chris Grace, who's a dropout guy and does the Fringe circuit and all that. He's doing a show at PCS right now. We're going to be emailing out a discount for folks to go see that. He's doing a show in a few weeks with Ross Bryant, another dropout, an improvised Shakespeare co-guy. That's really cool. So it's just like we're getting a lot of cool visitors, which is really fun. So that's my update.
Well, Comedy Park is coming back. Woo! So we are June 6th will be our first Comedy in the Park on Friday, and we're running through September 5th. Julie Corral and Rochelle Cochran are our hosts. For those who know Adam Vara, he is going to be our main producer. of Comedy in the Park this year. Him and I, we also put together a budget. So we have an actual budget for Comedy in the Park. There is an online form for stand-ups and for booking and auditions. So if you are a stand-up, you have interest, you can go on our website and you can submit a tape, submit your name. We had last night, we hosted Squeaky Clean. We had 20 comics perform, and we had set up a videographer to film their sets for them. So now they have an opportunity to have their 5-minute set to submit to us or use it for other places. We wanted to give back to the comedy, to the stand-up community and say thank you and offer that. Comedy in the Park, just so you know, this year the budget's $34,000. Toilets are expensive. I'm sick of toilets. Toilets are $14,000. We're trying to get a lower quote. It costs a lot of money to put up 12 dates. It's 12 shows. It's people's time. It's people's money. It's a lot of work to do. And then with that, we're using it as, can you donate to the theater? And the message is, we have these programs that we want to keep supporting here at the theater. That's what your donations are going to. That's what's happening. So that is the purpose. So the thought behind the process of, if we know this is going to cost money, we need to find sponsors to help out with this. So these are some of the sponsors that Adam and myself and Dylan has helped out a little bit, but Portland Parks and Rec, The Mercury, CityCast, Portland Pickles, Lyft, Willamette Valley Acclimate, Nectar, Best Day Brewing, Meat for Cats and Dogs, Travel Portland, Portland Events and Film, Second Space Productions. And we still have more sponsors. So some of these people are donating money or are paying for sponsorships to be part of the festival, to be part of Comedy in the Park. We've raised $23,000. Hopefully we can get to that $34,000. So then any of the donations are just coming to our programs. But that was the conscious, mindful choice of what we were trying to do with Comedy in the Park this year. Try to find more sponsorships. Those, so you might see their logos on some of our banners. We might have a couple shout outs. There might be some tabling for some of the events. There might be some free samples from some of the companies. But that's what we're trying to do, just so you know. Sound good?
Paul, I just wanted to add that we're going to be reaching out to all kinds of members of our community, performers, students, teachers here, to help volunteer for Comedy in the Park. It's a Friday night. You see an amazing show in a beautiful setting at Laurelhurst. You help us collect those donations. The more hands that we have in that, the more donations we're likely to get on each evening. It's a critical fundraising moment for Kickstand. It's a critical big spotlight for us. So if you have a Friday that you would love to go see some hilarious comedians in a beautiful park on a summer evening, and you can walk around with one of those donation buckets, please let us know, and we will we'll use you as long as you're available. We need people to help with this event. The more people we have, the better our fundraising goes. So we'll have a form that we're getting out to the community that people can sign up to help out.
Be ready to talk to people. That's part of the. I always like going out for donations because I'm talking to the people, whether they like it or not, and you really have to engage with them to get them to take out their money. But I think another goal this year is getting more awareness for the theater, and I think if we have performers out about at the park as volunteers talking to people, that's going to help get more people to the theater. So just something to think about.
I've had to go to a couple, or not had to go. I wanted to go, but I also had to go to some nonprofit events. That there were a lot of other nonprofit organizations and theaters, and we start chatting, and they say, "Oh, well, where are you from?" And I say, "Kickstand Comedy," and there's a blank stare on their face. And I say, "Do you know Comedy in the Park?" "Yeah." I want them to know about this place. Comedy in the Park's fantastic, and it's a bigger reach. And 45,000 people came out last year. That was the estimates. But now, hopefully, we can get some of those 45,000 people or 40,000 or 50,000, have them come see you here, performing here. If we get 1% of that, that would be fantastic, just to come in our doors. So I want, when I go to these nonprofit meetings and organizations and strategy talks, and I say Kickstand, oh, that place on Hawthorne, yes, 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 and we do Common Park, fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, my friend. Can you move to the front row so we don't block Paul? I know it's you do. I know you're not doing it intentionally. Thank you. No,
doing good.
you're good. Thank you.
All right. So, what is going on with next door? What is auxiliary space? The ever-ending. So, positive. We have that space, and before I came on, it was subleased to Away Days Brewery, and they ended their lease because they have a new place in Brooklyn, and there was not another subleaser set up in that space. So part of my job was then here, see what you can do with the space. Can you find somebody? So far, this is the third organization that I've spoken to with. This is the most promising. We had a tap room that was very interested in, and then they pulled out financial concerns. Then there was a pizza place, same thing, couldn't make it work. X-Ray FM radio has come. I've had multiple meetings with them. We've had a verbal agreement of them moving in. The issue has been the building itself and what the zoning is in our area. I've had a lot of city planning meetings, more than I'm learning a lot about the city of Portland and how things are built here and organized here and scheduled here, and it is a process. And with the building that we have both spaces, certain guidelines are allowed to what we can do in here, and certain guidelines can be allowed to be what can be in there. So we've already had a City of Portland Planning Committee meeting. We have a second one on May 16th, next Friday. I'm hoping after that one, then we can sign the MOU agreement that we've already drafted up with X-Ray. The good news would be is then we would have another nonprofit part of the building where we can work with for more fundraising and grant writing and two organizations. We would also have another arts organization that would be part. We would also have another cool, hip entertainment part of the building. We would also have a collaboration with them, whereas they would put on stage shows a couple times out of the year, music and bands in our venue. We'd be able to use and have content and creative content on their channels, trying to do something of that. That was something that when I was at one of these nonprofit places and I saw the person from X-Ray and I said, hey, and they're like, oh, I don't know you. Comedy in the Park, yes. And I said, what are you doing with your space? Oh, I've heard you've been looking, I said. And I go, yes, we have. And I started the dialogue. A lot of the sponsorships that we have, some of them were friends or people we knew or Dylan knew or had been fans of Kickstand, but a lot of them were just sending out letters. Would you be interested? Would you like to be a sponsor of that? So the dialogue started, the conversation started. It's been a 6-week process, 8-week process of negotiations. I'm hoping to have wonderful news. What would happen would be like June 1st, they would take over the sublease. And then moving on from there, they would try to use the summer and build out 2 studios and an office space. And then maybe even try to figure out how to use the bar area as a community area where we can also hang out between both organizations. That would be the goal. They also have a goal of, well, we also don't want to be a long time or just a subleaser. Can we help you eventually maybe purchase the building? That's the negotiation. It's hard. It's hard. The goal is hopefully the city will say yes. We're trying to cross our T's and dot our I's and all the proverbial paperwork. That's what it's been part of, and I've learned a lot doing this. Things I wasn't anticipating to doing, hoping that things were already set up before coming in. Now, if it doesn't work, happen, something doesn't come through, I will let the community know. And then we'll have to pivot, and we'll have to figure it out. But Away Days stopped paying rent October 1st. We have not had a revenue income in that space since then. That's where the money's going. We have a very expensive rehearsal space next door. It's great for classes. It's great for rehearsals. It's going to get hot in there, I know. But that has been what's been happening.
And
Okay.
there's a hatch you can open and stir the poop. That and Kara took care of that for us when the bathrooms were broken.
I am not squeamish. I will plunge your toilets.
All right, next.
So,
Oh.
well, I wrote some information down.
Okay.
So some of the changes we made, and we just want to hear like, yes, you liked it. No, it doesn't work. So some changes. We moved Thursday shows to 8:30 start times. Do you like that?
8:30.
8:30 versus 9. Does that
Thumbs
work
up.
better?
Seeing thumbs up.
Okay. We moved Herald to Thursday night. Seems to be selling better. Seems to be more attended. How do Herald teams? How do you feel instead of being on a Sunday? Yay, good. Some good.
Seeing thumbs up.
We've been alternating Aardvark with those Heralds. Not every week, but 2. It's okay. Yes, no. You want to do it more? Want to do it less?
Yes, no, maybe. Or
Yes, no, maybe.
I'm not sure.
Not sure. I want more.
Okay.
So I have a meeting with Secret Aardvark Hot Sauce on Monday. All this time. What have you guys been waiting on? What have you been waiting on? All right, come on. You know, we changed the name. Oh, cut the secret. Go to Aardvark. Right? So we'll see. Maybe we can have more if we have a sponsor. Maybe we can have some fun. Maybe we can bring back a mega Aardvark as their sponsor one night. That would be fun, right? How do you feel we left Belmont? Do you like that change? Okay.
No more hospital.
No more hospital. How's the apothecary? Smelly. Okay.
It smells like weed.
It smells like weed. All right. So we're looking for more spaces. We went over to Tiny's Coffee. They're looking to host us after they close, so that might be very close by. The point was we wanted to have rehearsal space close. We wanted to have classes, so you come to a class, come to a show, right? That was the goal. Belmont, yes, affordability, not really, but it was 24/7 access, which was good. 2 spaces. Cost was hard, but it was also 10, 15 minutes away. Do you want to come this way? So we're looking for space around here. That was the goal. Any other changes that have come up that you want to throw out that we haven't listed? I haven't
We
written
changed up the jams.
We changed up the jams.
We have
Yeah. How do
different
we feel about
types
the
of
jams? Different types of jams.
Has anyone here done the team jam? Yeah.
Yeah. Team
how'd
jam.
How'd you like it? Yeah, it's fun.
Thumbs up.
We do have a BIPOC jam that Eric's been coordinating. I think that's a great thing. Any thoughts in general about that to relevant folks? Yeah.
Also a great jam.
Yeah. And then we alternate every other week with just an open jam. Those have been like somewhat attended, not great. Come to a jam. It's fun. Yeah. And help me if you want to host a jam. That'd be great. Let me know.
I think a lot of these changes are just that. They're just changes. They don't have to be permanent. We're just seeing what works, what would be different, what we can try. So don't feel that your voice is not heard. You could say, I love this. I'm not a fan of this. Can we try something else? Did you consider this? What about that? That goes to anyone involved with Kickstand.
We got a
in the
comment
community.
online that says more jams.
More jams. Okay.
So great.
Great.
Also come to the jams we have.
Before more, let's get them fuller. Yeah. Unless you're willing to run it. This would be great.
We ready for State of Kickstand?
Yeah, I think so. All right. So up top we said, what are you most proud of? And, you know, I moved here with my wife and my daughter, and I didn't have a job, and Kickstand was like, would you like to teach here? That's great. It was really great. And I'm most proud of that. I like teaching here. I like working with all of you. That's fun. And you reached out to me to be ED. And I wanted to take the job because of that. So I wanted to work with all of you. And, you know, I've been on this position for about 6 months, and these people have been fabulous. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It has been challenging and frustrating. So now I'm going to talk about that I'm going to have this conversation with my daughter in a couple of years who wants to drive. Do you know how much car insurance costs? So this is going to be the car insurance talk with all of you right now a little bit, in the best way, shape, or form. What I wanted to do coming in, there were three areas of focus: system and structures, growth, and sustainability. And what does systems and structure means? Well, it means the departments are communicating with one another. Operations talks to programming, talks to education, so everybody knows what is working and how we're working together and utilizing it. So if something's overlapping, why is that happening? No, I'm supposed to have a Herald rehearsal tonight. Why isn't there space there? Having those things, and we still have those problems, but we're trying to make better communication, better structure between the organizations and the departments. Michael already mentioned it, internal and external calendar. 2 months online, you can buy tickets. That was the goal. 3 months internally of what we're trying to do within the organization. Guest artists, classes, shows, this was the goal. And the previous version of a house manager, nothing wrong with this, I'm not saying it, but the house manager that was hired or was asked to work here, their position was to be at the bar, run the tech, oversee the volunteers, and then close up and clean up the building. I felt that was a lot for one person to do. So the goal was to split it up and have a house manager, because the first person you come to any place, a theater, a concert, you see the person welcoming you is a box office person or a house manager, not the talent. That is the first person that will say, yes, come to our cool space. So it was important to break up the two. And then hiring a bartender, it increased our hospitality revenue, because now we have somebody dedicated to that. There's extra cost, but that's what I wanted to do. Eventually, we need to have a tech person, because I don't want to hear I hear that Kickstand's tech's not very good. And I've heard that within the community, outside of Kickstand. I don't want that to be our reputation. So even if it's just a tech person on a Friday night special show or a Saturday night special show, we need to figure out how to make that happen. That is about systems and structures. Growth is not just about revenue. It's about the 4 pillars that are painted on this walls or on the posters. Kickstand comedy, improv, stand-up, sketch, weird. We need to expand those 4 pillars if that's what you founded this theater on, if that's what's important to the community. We need to build our audiences and awareness and our brand. And, that, I know it's a dirty word, but it's not. You need to have people know about you. So I don't want to go to the next meeting and they go, Kickstand comedy, Comedy in the Park. We're expanding our community with more classes, and the type of shows and the people we put on this stage is important. This stage needs to represent everyone in this community. We need to expand our abilities by strengthening our performers and building up our community. Can we bring in other outside influences, professionals, people that want to offer and teach? Can we do that? We are, in a way, a hospitality service industry. We are offering people to come in for the first time. I always stand in the back when you see me in shows, and I'm standing in the back. Why? I'm watching the audience. I'm watching their experience watching you. Are they smiling? Are they laughing? Are they dropping their drinks on the floor? Are they spilling popcorn everywhere? Yes. Are they breaking the toilets? Are they doing all this stuff? Yes. But I want to see their experience, what they're experiencing of what you're bringing to them. That's what's fantastic. That's what I'm in the back watching. Sustainability. Can we survive as a nonprofit in this volatile arts market and a smaller market of Portland, knowing that the new government administration grant funding will decrease? So far, none of our grants that are NEA protected have been canceled. Okay? Portland Playhouse had theirs canceled for 15 grand. A lot of other organizations have had theirs canceled. So far, we're okay. So sustainability is about how you generate revenue through shows, sponsorships, hospitality. How can we increase that area? The training center is because of all of you. The training center is because of you. It's for those who teach it. It's for those who take the classes. That's fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The reason why we're increasing the classes is because there has been a little bit more need, but any comedy theater, improv theater in the country relies on a training center. Before the pandemic, Second City's biggest income was their training center. Not their shows, not their touring shows, but their training centers from around the country. So we need this to be part of it because everyone should have the benefit of learning improv and how that can make them a better person at work, at home, finding community, building community. That's what we can offer. We've had to cut expenses. We've had to look at private donations. Now, we're going to get to comments, and there's been a lot of comments about what's going on with the pay what you can policy. What's going on? Why is it a sliding scale? And I'm just going to say this right off the bat. Presenting it, how it was rolled out, it wasn't rolled out properly, and that is on me. I'm sorry about that. That was on me. When this theater started 10 years ago, you did not have the overhead of what you have now. So I think it's important that I'm going to share with you 3 numbers. And I trust all of you, and I want to share all this with you so you know what the numbers are. And I'm not going to get into a lot of details and financial details, but I just want to show you 3 numbers of what we're dealing with to try to keep this theater. And I said it in November. An organization is not a building. An organization is the people that make it up. If this building goes away, we're still going to be Kickstand. It doesn't matter. Right? But I want you to understand maybe some of the reasoning on why we did a sliding scale. We only have 75 seats, so we said 10% of all shows will be a sliding scale, a cheaper discounted ticket, so that's 8. And then we have shows that, because they're co-productions, they need to have X amount of, in their contract, of what they can have. We're splitting a cost, 60-40, 50-50, 70-30. We're trying to figure something out. So we're looking at every seat matters about sales. So when we do a pay what you can, it changes a lot if it's a $9 ticket to a $5 ticket. But I want to offer some transparency, and like I said, I want to give you 3 numbers because I want you to know how much things cost. And I feel that I'm shouldering tons of fiscal responsibility for the organization, and it keeps me up at night. And I talk with my wife about this, and we talk about this, and this is hard. And I don't want this organization to fail. $139,000. $139,000 is the annual rent on the building. Surprised? Yeah? A little bit. That was the lease that was signed. We have to try to make that. Ali Wong, in 10 days, is doing 3 nights, 5 shows, a block away from here at Helium. She's charging $106 to $115 a ticket. That's obscene. That's obscene. In 3 days, they're going to gross $144,000. That's not counting the bar. 3 days, they're going to pay her rent for the year. Now, Allie didn't want to perform here. No, she didn't ask. I don't know her. I don't know her. I'm like, Allie,
said no.
You know. She said, no, Paul, I don't. I don't know her.
She asked, "Can I charge $100?"
And we're like, no.
We said no. We
But
don't want our rent paid in 3 days. What are you, crazy?
so we have to look at then how do we manage the budget for why we're doing shows or co-productions, or if we have a comic, a Bo Johnson that he did a taping in here. It was fantastic. He bought out the theater for 2 days. He had the best time. It was exciting. It was 5 cameras in here. I felt like back in the day. It was a lot of fun for me being here. It was 20 hours. I didn't care, but it was fun. But it was the income and the revenue that helped us for that month. to pay for it. And I don't want to keep bumping shows, but that is just the realism of what we're looking at financially. Just because it's a nonprofit doesn't mean we don't play or work for profit. 30%. So session 2 classes we offered, 30% of those classes were offered at a discount, no cost, scholarship, or reduced rate. We have to keep 30% number. We cannot lower that. That is something we need to do for the community. But we're not paying our teachers less, 30% less. So we need to figure out, how do we find someone to subsidize that? How can we find that 30% extra? There was a theater in New York before the pandemic, the Signature Theater, off-Broadway theater. Tickets were $75. They offered $25 tickets, but they had Chase Bank then subsidized $50 for every ticket. So the Signature Theater still got $75, even though they wanted tickets prices lower for their community to buy and see their shows. We need to find, how do we find to subsidize those programs? We have applied for grants, and we have not been as successful. But I had a coffee meeting with the foundation. We talked for an hour. The person wrote a check for $5,000. $2,500 now, $2,500 in November. And that is for our ASL interpreters and BIPOC program, what I specifically asked for. We need to try to find that if we can. And finally, full-time, 40, 50 hours equals part-time salary. We have 3 staff members, myself, Kristen, and Kara. We work full-time schedules for part-time salary. They have still taken a pay cut. I signed an offer letter, and I'm not getting it because it's not in the budget. So it's hard. So we make mistakes because we're overworked, or we're doing 2 or 3 jobs, and we're also working outside. I still have to teach at PCC and acting school and all that stuff to make up the revenue income. So we have to find ways. All right, Dad said how much car insurance costs. I know, the glazed eyes. But I just wanted to share with you those numbers because that is always the struggle with keeping any type of organization. And I'm not here to throw anyone under the bus previously. It is hard to run a small business. It's hard to run an arts organization. It's hard to run a nonprofit organization. It's hard to run an organization competing with other theaters here. So I just want you to know about what the numbers are, because these are some of the choices that we're looking at. And it doesn't mean that we're not considering the community at all. It just means that if we want to have a place to be here on this stage to perform, we got to figure out ways. So I'm not asking anyone here to say, here, I'm writing you a check. That's not what I'm asking. How are ways can you help? If you have a business that you would want to introduce me to, or an organization, or somebody, that's what I'm doing. I'm just meeting people. I'm just having a conversation. Anything that, even if it's just like, come to our theater and see a show, great. But that is the dialogue, having dialogue with people that are willing to see if they can help in some way financially in a certain way. Yes, please.
Yeah, just like I was saying about the bar, like if everything at that, if I didn't have to buy anything for that bar, it would all go directly into Kickstand. Paul mentioned our pay cuts. I am now a 1-year anniversary of my pay cut. I've had a pay cut for a year, and every month I'm in the red. I have a credit card for the first time in my life. I love this organization. I worked 7 years for no money. I had an office job where I lied and would just be on a computer working this job. And then I worked for a few years for $27,000 a year. That's nothing. But I love this organization, and that's why I do it. So, yeah, just like anything you can do, like I said, like if you buy a case of Coca-Cola, that's a case of Coca-Cola we don't have to buy. Or if you know somebody who works at Coca-Cola and would love to donate something, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
And I think it would be helpful for us, for you as the community, because we know that the pay what you want changing wasn't communicated properly, and the expectations changed, and everyone wants to go see their friends and go to shows, and we don't want to limit your access. That's but it's what you're hearing here is that it's really hard to make everyone happy in that sense. Like we need, in order for this place to survive, for people to just plan ahead, pay for their tickets. We offer a cheaper price online ahead of time than at the door. You know, our prices that we offer are lower or the same as any other comedy theater. You may have seen a bump when we switched our ticketing system, but that was because we included the fees in the price, which is now, if you've noticed on other sites, a federal law that you have to show all the fees when you list your ticket prices. So we went from $10 and $15 on our old platform, where after fees you'd be paying like $12.50 and $17.50, and now you pay $12 and $17 flat, includes the fees. So you're paying the same amount. Oh, sorry. And so I want to just support Paul here and say, like, culturally, I think there's a lot of feelings around why can't I have access to the space that I'm a part of because of ticket prices. And we know everyone has different needs and different abilities to pay all the time. And we are going to look into some other options to maybe find ways so that you don't have to open your wallet every time you come to the door. We're looking into that. We don't have an answer right now, but I think in the meantime, just culturally as a community, I just hope that people will understand, like, when you're paying for a ticket, it's supporting Kickstand. It's also supporting the performers, validating what they're doing. They're doing a lot of work. These show runs, any show you see, they're rehearsing. They're doing a lot of work outside, and even with co-productions, they're taking home some money, but it's without the ticket sales, it's not very much, and they're putting their own money into marketing, to buying dumb props to make the show more fun, to getting someone to run text so the whole thing feels professional. Like there's costs associated with things. It's the capitalist society we live in. It's a bummer, but we just ask that you will participate in whatever way you can, but to just do it in a way that we hope that you have compassion for everyone else involved, and know that the transaction is just a small part of that whole process, and it's a way of showing support.
And I don't want anyone to feel that they cannot see a show here. Yeah. And if anybody wants to talk to me personally, of course, everyone should be able to see a show in our venue. That needs to happen. That needs to be part of it. It really does. We want that to happen. And we're even thinking about, okay, do we then go the other way? All Thursday shows are pay what you can. We go that route and make it that. So we're willing to try and listen. So sincerely, I just wanted to say it's on me that the policy wasn't presented well, and it's on me, and I take that, and I'm learning, but also it was looking at, as Michael said, the bigger picture. But everyone should have an opportunity to see shows here, and that is super important. And I know that with all this reality and frustrations, I don't want you to think that there's not a takeaway of joy that I've had for the last 6 months. And what I see that all of you are providing to people that come in this theater. You have to know that. You have to know the joy that you're giving others that are willing to come here. We're attracting new audiences. One of my favorite moments is when somebody says from the stage, who's here from Kickstand, who's coming to Kickstand for the first time? And half the crowd claps. That's great. We need to make sure they come back. Because if they're buying a ticket, what does this room say? What does the house or the volunteers say? What does the show represent? We want these people to come back a second, a third, and be fans of us. Ticket sales, like I said, have gone up, and with the 3-on-3 and the stand-up shows and the touring shows, we want to keep doing that if we can. And feedback from all of you, what we've heard from students talking about you as instructors. I read those, they're fantastic. Or what students have said, why they've liked a show or liked a teacher or like that. I like hearing that as well. So I just want you to know there has been joy with the frustration and the challenges.
Here, here. We're gonna go to. Oh, sorry, we got this slide. I thought we had Q&A next.
What are some quick areas to improve? So, if some of these skills you have, talk to us. Marketing. How do we communicate better to all of you? So, Bradford said, hey, let's do a WhatsApp. He did all this work for me, and I have been hesitant to pull the trigger. Because I'm like, is that what everybody wants? Everybody wants a WhatsApp? Do you want another app to communicate? Do we want, yes, I'm seeing some no's, right? Yeah. Do we want people to write things that it's like, I didn't like what this person said on WhatsApp. Paul, can you talk to them? What about this? I don't know. So Bradford did a lot of work. I appreciated it. I felt kind of bad, but I didn't know if like that's the way. So we got to figure out how to communicate to all of you better. What is the best way forms of that? Website. We need to update our website. We have a volunteer that says they're willing to do it for free. Willing to do a lot of that work. Interior of the venue. We need to make sure that this theater is comfortable and is accessible, and audiences come in and out, and it works. We need to find additional spaces for classes and rehearsals. And then Justin, and we can send this, but Justin had some suggestions with social media. That would help us if you had pictures or you wanted to be tagged. We're just trying to build your brand, build all of us collaborating with one another. So those are some thoughts and suggestions, and we can obviously reach out to all of you, or if you have questions about that or comments, let us know. A lot of it is we're not asking you to do it, but if you know somebody, that is the wonderful ask. Then we will pursue, we will ask, we will go forward.
All right. Questions? Here. Yeah, we got, these are the ones that were submitted ahead of time.
I'm just going to do the Dylan Reef method. Also, he wanted to be here, but he got a last-minute DJ wedding gig, so he had to go after the money. If we have a question that we feel like we've already answered, I'll ask you, do we feel like we've already answered this, and then we'll move on. Does that make sense? Cool.
Okay. We got a lot of questions that were around what's up with pay what you want tickets going away, or it being online only and it being discounted instead of pay what you want. Does this not go directly against Kickstand's mission? Additionally, transparency and public announcements around this change would have been really helpful. What's the current status? So just to give a little more context, so the pay what you want tickets was originally meant to be a limited number of tickets available at the door for people who needed them. And that was never really implemented in a way that we had a good system around it. It just kind of became negotiating at the door with whoever happened to be working at the door at that time, and that hasn't been working. So the thought process was we moved to, okay, we don't have that anymore and instead have a discounted ticket available for all the shows that's a few dollars less, and that will help with access. And that wasn't really communicated or rolled out properly. So now our current status is we're going to try Thursday Pay What You Want. Is that
If we do, we will announce it next week.
we're considering it. And we'll talk about it a little more here. And you know, something that I've proposed to Paul that is now offered through our ticketing system, Crowdwork, is a membership option where we could say, you pay X amount a month, you have access to these shows unlimited. So that's something we could implement and would love to hear feedback. Think of it like a gym membership. You pay X amount a month. But the difference is you also know that that membership money is going towards an organization you support. So maybe it's not even about being able to go to shows for free. Maybe you would have spent that much anyway, but it's just a nice way to just walk in the door like a cool guy, like I'm a member. So we're looking into some better options here.
Oh, you're fine.
Any?
Let's ask if we've answered that.
Do people feel that answers the question? We have a follow-up?
Just to be completely clear, what is the exact policy right now?
Right now, it is sliding scale.
One scale online only.
Online only. That is how we have it set up.
Yeah. So that. Oh, go ahead.
And I know that we have to accommodate. And I want to accommodate. So we have to figure out a better method. Yeah. We got to figure out a better method.
Great. Now, this next question is, at the last town hall, there was a bit of a dramatic moment. One community member tried to bring up a concern, and he was swiftly shut down. At the time, I thought maybe the board member was right to shut him down, but as I learned more about the situation, it sounded like he was actually trying to speak up for what is right, and he was being shut down publicly in response. This seems extremely not transparent. Could we discuss this or get more information on what happened? It did not make Kickstand seem like a place for you to be welcome to speak up for what's right.
Yes, we need to talk about it. So there was, yeah, so why don't you start with the process and then I'll do the follow-up.
Sure. Yeah, so this was a concern that was mentioned to us by this performer, and we talked to him about it. I talked to him about it. Paul, you talked to him about it? Afterwards. So, but the issue at hand didn't directly relate to him. So we had direct communication. We followed all our procedures. So by the time it was brought here, it had already been discussed 3 times. So once it came here, we had already gone through all the processes and procedures. Does that make sense? So by the time it was here, it was like, okay, this is now coming up here again. And we've already discussed it, and we've told you what the deal is. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. So that night, I went to the person and I said, I'm new. I didn't know what the processes were. I was told a little bit about it. Would you like to have a discussion? And then I met with that person the following week, and we discussed for an hour. And then we had a couple follow-ups. So I didn't want that night to end in that way, and I wanted the person to be heard. So if there's any concerns that people feel they cannot be heard at Kickstand, I want to alleviate that. You have a voice, you can be heard, you can be seen. There are processes that need to happen regarding policies, but once those policies, if you have further questions, please know that you can communicate to one of our leadership staff positions.
Do you feel like that answers the question? Any follow-ups? Great. This next comment is, I'd like to see more performance opportunities for current students outside of Velodrome and Secret Aardvark. So as we mentioned, we have the jams every week. They rotate. Just refresh. We have BIPOC Jam every 4th. Oh, geez. It's on the website. BIPOC Jam every 4th Sunday. Team Jam every 2nd Sunday. And then 1st and 3rd is Open Jam to all. As Kristen said, they haven't been well attended. So let's get that attendance up. Go to those jams. I guess I kind of want to know like what people are looking for, because Aardvark and Velodrome Velodrome's booked by the host teams. Aardvark is by audition. So you're right, we don't have a lot of just drop-in stuff for students. Again, it costs. This is something we have to figure out because it costs us money to keep the theater open. We need audiences. How, if it's a student performance, how do we market that in a way that people are getting an experience that that as an audience they leave satisfied with? So there's a lot of challenges around that. Pitch us a show. If you have something that you want to try, let us know. That's a great way. And producing a show, you learn a lot. You learn a lot about what works and what doesn't work. You learn what it takes to make a show successful. And you're probably going to work a little harder on that performance. So if you have any other thoughts or ideas, we're going to keep working within our capacity to offer more ideas. Kristen wants to do a show where faculty perform with students who put in name for the lottery.
Yeah, There used to be this great show called Gorp. Gorp, which paired a pretty experienced improviser with a less experienced improviser. So that was kind of a cool thing. So I don't know. Maybe we'll bring back something like that.
Yeah,
Talk
maybe
to
that's
Andrew.
a Sunday show we can bring
Yeah.
back.
And then let's say you have an idea for a show, but you don't know how to begin. You don't know how to start. So I'm going to offer, and we're going to put it on. So starting next Saturday from 4 to 5:30. So every Saturday it's going to be called Office Hours. If you want to meet with me, whether in person or online, I'm here until 4 teaching my class. I will stay here for another hour and a half. And we'll schedule like 2 shifts for 45 minutes. And if you have questions like, how do I put up a show? Or I have this concept, or I don't know what community member I should reach out to, or do you think this show would fit, or what can I do? I'm willing to listen, offer advice, production advice. I used to teach a producing class here at Kickstand. So I'm happy to share and listen and give you tools and tips to move forward to making your idea happen. So that's what we're going to offer.
We can clap for that. I'll get to you in just 1 second. But I just want to piggyback on that because before Paul worked here, Paul was my director and helped me produce my show. And he went leaps and bounds above anything I expected. And I would not have been successful in that show without him.
Yes, follow up.
Clarify on the office hours. Are they drop-in or are they meant to be scheduled?
I think we should try. What I'm going to work with Michael is just to come up like with a Google form, so whatever day works for you. And I think I'm going to offer both. If you want to be in person, great. But I think then if I need to set up a Google Meet, we can do that too. So if it's 90 minutes, maybe have 2 45-minute sessions, and we'll try to set that up.
So schedule ahead of time.
Yeah, we're going to schedule ahead of time. I think that's probably the better way instead of just.
As we mentioned, Paul is working multiple jobs, and and that's not. I'm just saying
no.
we want to be respectful of his time as well, and make sure everyone's on board. Great. This next comment is: I love y'all. More clown and musical improv opportunities, please and thank you. Also, dramatic improv would be awesome. I'd pay extra for great teachers. All right. Thank.
Is there a question in there? Yeah.
Thankful. Dramatic improv noted. Yeah.
Dramatic improv noted. Thank you.
Musical improv, clown will stay on course. We'll build more classes.
Yeah, we're going to keep doing musical improv and clown. Those are programs that are a little more niche, but with it, we're seeing more interest. Thank you for making this class accessible through scholarship and other means necessary. It feels so great to be included in learning, even if funds aren't available to me. You're very welcome, person.
We love a good, positive, grateful comments here too, along with your questions and your challenges about what things are going on. Like that scholarship. This is something we really find very important, right? I do also find sometimes it's challenging when a lot of people. They really legitimately need the assistance, but the training center again is our bread and butter. So we have to find a balance while still offering that access to classes and being proud to do it and thankful for the opportunity to do it. We have to find a balance. We need to be able to afford the teacher that is teaching the class at the bare minimum. Yeah, but thank you for your thanks. Yeah.
Great. Sorry, I was just trying to find something well. All right. This next question, curious if you can speak to the change in pay what you can pricing. We covered that. Is there any plan for there to be more performance opportunities? A lot of people seem disappointed in their results from last round. Sorry to hear that. With our auditions, we've actually increase the number of opportunities by splitting up the Aardvark casts, having these director runs, and our goal is to produce quality shows that audiences want to see, and we're still, like I said, we're still figuring out where's the development arm of that beyond. We have our Herald teams, we have anyone can play in Velodrome. There's We're kind of reaching capacity as far as what we can produce in-house. So, like I said, pitching shows is a great way to do it. I think, we want to be helpful with that. but we can only do so much in house. In a lot of cities, there are theaters and then there are indie scenes, and we say Velodrome's an indie comedy show, but in reality, an indie comedy show is anywhere besides the theater. It can be in a backyard, wherever.
I was just going to say we were that. But y'all made us awesome and greater and better and bigger. And so now it's time for new indie stuff to happen, That's another thing. It's like put on that show. Thea used to do a show in her backyard. It was pretty cool.
Cut your teeth taking your team to different spaces or creating a show that people can attend. We need like a rising tide lifts all ships. So if you're out there hustling, I do an independent show, independently produced myself right now. Love Shakespeare. We hustle really hard to book theaters, get audiences, do the marketing, do the rehearsing, and we're not like currently associated with any other theater. I want you to build the show that you would like to see. We'd love for Kickstand to be a place where you can perform and bring that show if there's interest and alignment in that. But nobody's stopping you from doing the thing that you want to do. Go out there and do it, right? Like. Make it happen. Yeah.
I wish we could do more shows here, but what we're learning is we want to first get audiences to come to the shows we have. So, any follow up? Do we feel like that question was answered? Great. This next question is about pay what you want. I'm just going to read through it just to give this person voice because they had a very unique take on it, but. What is happening to the Pay What You Want program? There seems to be some inconsistency in what different house managers and volunteers have been told recently regarding Pay What You Want. Most will allow it, but it's not as simple as it once was. Now there's a whole conversation that includes getting permission from the house manager on duty or claiming that Pay What You Want is only available online. Online, however, does not have Pay What You Want. I understand that new ticketing system doesn't support Pay What You Want tickets without making the whole event Pay What You Want, which is true. But the sliding scale tickets are usually only $3 less than regular tickets, and there's such a limited number of them that they often sell out. At least with the old online system, there were multiple tiers for sliding scale tickets. For me personally, there was already some amount of shame in asking for Pay What You Want tickets. Now that it seems to involve a whole negotiation, my show attendance has drastically decreased. Assuming our mission is still to break down barriers that have historically prevented certain people from watching or participating in comedy, this feels like a step in the wrong direction and is honestly quite concerning. So we hear that. We did have multiple tiers in the old ticketing system, but those had limits as well. Sometimes we would remove the limits for certain shows, but that wasn't publicly viewable. So we're just being a little more transparent with how many we're offering now. And again, that was kind of a carryover from the old theater, and we're adjusting. And I think we've already addressed kind of our process around this. So feel good? Any follow-up? Great. What buckets of mailing lists does Kickstand maintain? Not all performers were emailed about this town hall, for example. Having an unclear strategy for who is contacted about what makes it very hard to feel like part of the community here. So I hear that. So we have our main mailing list, which is more for marketing, but we did include the town hall in that. So make sure you're signed up for that mailing list. It's at the bottom of the website on the footer there. You can add yourself to the newsletter. Otherwise, Kristen emails out to current students. I keep a list of our current house performers, meaning anyone on the teams that we cast from auditions. I don't carry over people from past casts just because that's how I've been doing it. We could be better with our email list management. And then I believe we also have a list of people who have signed up who want to volunteer that is managed by Kara, correct?
The volunteers are managed by Lynn. However, the Comedy in the Park, Kickstand Comedy in the Park volunteers will be managed by me. Did I get that right? Am I messing anything up? Yeah. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think I emailed you. Shit.
Because we're still going to be doing shows here on Friday nights.
Yeah. Yeah.
The community is quite large now, and as much as we would like to, it's really hard to get into every nook and cranny of everybody who's ever engaged at any level in Kickstand. Obviously, communications are a big part of what we try to do. We're understaffed. So sending out all of those communications can be difficult. Please, if there's something you want to know about or aren't seeing, also at like I just want to say, like, we can't give everyone a personal invitation all the time. So we try to put relevant things on the website and put them in our newsletter when we can. But if you're not seeing it, like, ask us, let us know, and keep up to date on the website with what's going on, because we also have posted it there.
Yeah, we try to. If you're someone who is good at this and knows how to manage these lists, let us know if you are available to help us as a volunteer to take that on as a project. That would be awesome.
And I just want to say, I mean, even for shows, if you just see in the classrooms and the board here, we're trying to put posters of just what is in the building, what's happening this week, next week, the following week. So we've been trying to increase just visibility regarding your shows just within the community if you're here taking classes or seeing shows as well.
Next question, unless anyone has follow-up. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. How does one direct or produce a show at Kickstand? Is it invite only? So the directed runs we've initially asked our faculty, just because it's still a kind of new program, and we have then had people reach out about that. So Julie and Courtney reached out with their pitch for a show, just in general, and we then were short on pitches from our faculty, and we wanted to give them the opportunity because they've been really involved with the community and very proactive, and wanted to give them that opportunity. So I know that feels like it maybe wasn't a transparent process to get that, but it's just kind of how things turned out. We might be able to open it up for those director runs in the future. We haven't worked that out yet. As far as producing a show, anyone can produce a show. There's the pitch form online. I think I already talked about how you can talk to us, so I feel like we've covered that pretty well. When are the next auditions scheduled for house teams? We don't have exact dates, but we're looking at July, so every 6 months. It's a pretty huge task to organize and make that happen, but annually feels a little long too to wait. So we are planning for July. We'll update folks with dates when we have those. Can the students in the teams they create record themselves and utilize it for marketing purposes if all the participants, oh God, it's cut off. Hold on.
The answer is yes.
Sign off. But yes, there's a little phone holder there on the pillar. I put that there so people can record their shows easily, and a lot of people have been using that. So
I do want to add some context to that. That doesn't mean like at the last day bringing in some huge camera rig that we were unaware was going to be present. So please do consider that if you're going to have a big sound and camera setup, you need to talk to Kickstand ahead of time about that, and you really do need consent from everybody in that show to use that footage if you're using it anything other than private, like I have a recording of my show that I'll show my mom sometime. Like you have to think about all don't surprise us with five cameras, Johnson style, the night of the show that you just said, oh, I paid this camera person to come and record the show tonight. Right? Talk to people. Let us know. Yeah. Any additional? Oh, and I wasn't noticing it. Okay, great.
I think we probably have about 10 more minutes. So
Yeah.
we're getting ready for
we'll kind of lightning round this.
lightning round.
How is
and then
Kickstand?
any questions for you?
Oh, sorry. How is Kickstand aiming to balance comedy in the park, show marketing, and free, pay what you want, and shows at the theater, marketing, limited, sliding scale, full price? Comedy in the park will always be free, and we're asking for donations. That's been pretty clear. I'm not 100% sure what this question is asking, but we will still be having shows in the theater, and we're going to market both as best we can. But those Friday shows are going to have to probably work a little harder to get audiences out. Summer in general is slower. Will there ever be an advanced stand-up writing workshop?
Yeah, there's currently advanced stand-up
There is currently an advanced stand-up class. There's another question here about the NEA grant. This is a long one, but it's the last one. All right. I'm an intermediate Kickstand student who loves your classes and the effortless sense of community and belonging. Achieving true inclusion can be difficult in Portland because Oregon is deeply rooted in historic racism, and it can be a very culturally homogenous city. It's no secret that the city's progressive veneer is often weaponized in a way that dismisses and erases BIPOC experiences and is frankly hostile when it comes to the treatment of pretty much everyone but white folks. In a city like Portland, and probably in most places in the U.S., free separate classes for BIPOC individuals in the first 3 levels is extremely important. Intentionally inclusive and welcoming classes help people feel safe and supported enough to get into improv in the first place, because otherwise taking class in yet another white-dominated space in Portland could feel isolating and alienating. But as a white person in an interracial marriage who grew up outside NYC, I miss being in integrated spaces and being part of a rich tapestry of cultures and life experiences. Being surrounded exclusively by other white people sucks. I'd rather be in a room where people in a wide range of ethnicities and experiences can play and learn together, and where my lived experience does not dominate. So in the spirit of improv, I'd like to propose a yes, there should be free class. I'm worried where this is going. Yes, there should be free classes that create a safe environment dedicated to BIPOC individuals, and there should be 100% scholarships for BIPOC identified individuals to take any class, regardless of whether it is designated as BIPOC only. I recognize the double-edged sword and know there are no easy answers. For example, people took the scholarship for other classes that could be less people in the affinity-focused classes. I think, sorry, this is long, but
both are true. First of all, anyone can take our general program classes, right? We have people sign up for days that just work for them, right? Perhaps the BIPOC affinity space doesn't work for them. We also do offer scholarships to those classes, and we unshamefully prioritize Black applicants and other marginalized communities for those scholarships. And in our upper level, since we don't have a affinity program all the way through our training centers, our BIPOC students are given scholarships that continue to level 4 and advanced study classes. So you know that they can have access all the way through our training center. We would like to grow that program in a lot of different ways because it's not perfect by any means. But yeah, anyone is welcome to take any part of our. I'm just calling for them like our general program classes. So yeah, I agree with the spirit of that, and we do offer scholarships to our a bunch of our classes. Yeah, if that.
And Carrie, you can maybe speak to this, but when we had our work with Construct the Present, that this program was what they recommended, correct, for the BIPOC classes, or am I?
Sure what you're asking.
I might have this. I don't know exactly, so I'm just gonna skip it.
Are there any questions just within the group here? Yes.
I just want to speak up because I'm part of the BIPOC crew, and the night of our student showcase, I wanted to set my camera up here, and everybody on the team was like, "Yeah, let's do it." I'm excited. I had 2 brand new phones, just gonna set one up. But someone in the chain of command said, "Hey, can't do it." So I'm just curious, like, what was the reasoning if we were allowed to?
I think I don't know. It's hard to say without more context of who and what was going on. Oh.
I want to apologize. That was messaging that I received, and it wasn't clear to me what the policy was. This happened right after the incident you spoke of, the camera crew wanting to come in. I internalized that information because I internalized that information as like, we need advance prior like consent from everyone, not in the moment right before the show, to film anything in this space. So I apologize. I misunderstood the policy.
And Naomi, you don't have to bear all
Yeah, I think what we're hearing is that we need maybe a written policy on filming shows to make it clear for everyone. But yeah,
Just tip the hat. Like I've been to other theaters where they have live streaming and can make money online for viewership. So something maybe Kickstand can embrace as a fundraising opportunity for extra shows. We can't. We're limited to seating here, but you can get an online ticket for a discounted sliding scale. Who knows, right? But this
yeah, live streaming tickets would be great. It would be an initial investment, and also you need someone to run that in the booth. So there, that's something we would need. Probably some funding to kickstart and see how that goes. But yeah, the space could definitely benefit from that. Thank you.
Any other questions just with the people here?
Have you planned the schedule for next semester yet, as far as classes go?
For session 3?
Yeah.
Kristen and I were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Still planning it?
It'll probably be released.
I mean, I hope to have the classes online very soon. It's a long process to get them scheduled and get coordinated with teachers, but yes, those classes will be online before the end of this month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was just hoping certain classes would be offered on certain days. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
a way to
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, one way we think of classes is if you took a level 1 on a Monday, we try to schedule in the following session a level 2 on that same day. So generally, your next level class will be offered on the same day that you took your previous level, so that people can track through on the same day. We're not always able to get the instructors that we need to teach that level to be available on that day. So sometimes there are, hey, you got to hop over to a Thursday or a Monday, right, when you weren't expecting to. But we do, that's generally the way we try to schedule the classes. So if you had a level 2 this session, you will have a level 3 on this same day next session if we have an instructor available to teach it. And by and large, we do. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting notes that the audience isn't getting picked up on the live stream. So just the last question was just, when's the next session of classes going up? And before that, we talked about policies on filming shows because there was an incident where someone was told they couldn't film their show. And we're going to try and clarify that with a blanket policy for the organization.
So just wrapping up, I think we should just say, obviously, thank you for coming out on a Saturday and being here in the afternoon. There's a lot of information, a lot to process. This is your theater. I want everybody to know that this is your theater. This is your venue. This is your home. We asked, how can the community help? How can you get involved? Obviously, we have Coming in the Park. We're looking for volunteers. Obviously, we have Fix It Fridays. But one thing I just wanted to throw out, talking to Kat, we were talking about this, and she suggested, I thought it was great, share something to 5 people. What would you want to share about Kickstand to 5 people? Hey, there's a great show called Honk. It's a monthly show. Come see it. Hey, we do Comedy in the Park. Hey, would you like to take a class? We have 250 people, what's our community? Times 5. That's just the start. We can all do that, right? Share something to 5 people, whatever it is, whatever excites you, whatever is important to you about this organization. If you have companies or individuals that you think could help us and you want to make the introduction, just make that introduction or let me know and I'll introduce myself. Happy to do that. Happy to say hello. Happy to get a dialogue starting. So reach out to me personally, talk to me, email me. And what else?
These are just a few things. We're waiting for it to go through, but Google Ads offers a nonprofit credit. If anyone has Google Ads management experience, that would be really helpful so that we don't have to figure it out ourselves. And that would be an ongoing volunteer opportunity with the initial setup and then probably checking in here and there. We're also looking for someone to help us update our branding kit so we have consistency across all our platforms so that there's a overall look. We have, like I said, we have something, just need some updating. Volunteer, Comedy in the Park volunteers, and then we don't know what skills you have or what ideas you have on. So pitch us a project if you have a niche skill and see the need in the community. We'd love to hear. Sometimes there's going to be red tape, like with the WhatsApp thing, where it's like, this is great, but it also might add more work for us, and that's a reality that might happen. So we'll.
Just speaking of that, sometimes what is great is like people that can commit to doing it and tell us, like, we'll set up a deadline of like, let's try it for 3 months and then let's check back in, because we don't want you to get burnt out on it. We want you to be having fun while you're doing stuff. And also just like commitment, right? The follow through. It's awesome that you want to help, but we got to get you to commit to it. Sometimes people flake out. It is hard for us because then we have to do all the work.
Yeah, so just be intentional with your volunteering. And then these are just some material needs. This is a short list we kind of put together last minute. Our Mac in the booth is kind of not doing so well. If you have an old Mac, but like not too old, like hopefully in the last 5 years that you want to donate or want to help us buy one, something compact like a Mac Mini or a laptop is great. And Mac is preferred, but we can make a PC work too if it works well, and we can make it work with our systems. Some kind of lockers or lockbox for the green room. We have only had one incident that I'm aware of something getting stolen from the green room, but
That man left his backpack next door with the door wide open. I'm just saying.
hey, let's not victim blame now. Anyway, we want people to feel like they can leave stuff in the green room. We monitor the areas as best we can. Just so you know, but
Sorry, I'm just being sassy. Dilly knows I love him. Yes, so the goal is we're working on a grant right now, and Paul, you can jump in on this too, but we're specifically requesting money for locks and lockers. So what we'd like to do is, if we can't get the lockers, set up new locks in the back blue room so we can at least lock the room while your stuff's in there. That makes sense.
thank you. Merchandise, we have been out of shirts sizes for a long time, and the problem is that the upfront cost of ordering a big batch of shirts is just kind of more than we can budget for right now.
3,000 to 4,000.
Yeah, so if anyone has resources or wants to donate that as like, I know that some people like to give money towards a specific cause. I know that sounds a little not like as exciting as like a scholarship, but having merchandise is a way to help us easily fundraise and also gift to cool, visiting performers who can then represent the theater around the country. And so that's something we could use help on. These are some just like pie in the sky things, but like a big, nice printer so we can just print nice posters here. We're also looking into a sponsor that can help us print. So, but that's just something that could be helpful. And our stage lights and our light board is currently a DJ light board that doesn't really work well for us.
But that's
But-
part of the grant's supposed to pay for that.
Yeah, we're that we got?
Yeah.
Oh, well, never
Yeah.
mind. But anyway, we might start publicly posting a wish list so people know that how they can support. So that's something to keep an eye out for. I think and that's the end of the show. And that's our show. So we're gonna stick around. If you have questions, they're gonna need to get the house ready for the 7:00 show. But come up and talk to us if you have any questions. And if you're online, email us. Contacts and everything are on the website. Always look at the website. I know it's a lot. We have a few too many pages on the website, but all the information is there. All right. Thanks, guys.